Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Behel. We are starting with our top focus in this edition. The Opposition India bloc plans to bring adjournment motions on the NEET controversy in both houses of parliament on Friday. The decision was taken at the meeting of alliance parties at the residence of Congress Chief Mallikarjun Kharge. Now, according to sources, we are learning the government is ready to answer every question from the opposition on NEET. And sources also tell NDTV that the Education Minister, Dharmendra Pradhan, may intervene if it is needed. My colleague Akhilesh brings us more on that.
They are saying that they have taken the necessary steps. First, the DG was sacked. All the cases pertaining to the NEET leakage, they were handed over to the CBI. And apart from that, a high-level committee under the chairmanship of former ISRO chief, Mr. Radhakrishnan, was appointed, and the committee already had a meeting, and within a fortnight they are going to consult all the students and their parents, and then they will come up with a mechanism to have robust and transparent examination system. So all the necessary steps have been taken, and the CBI is already on its work. We have seen that how across the country, various places, the CBI is conducting raids. Many people have been arrested, and the government says it has nothing to hide, so it is ready to answer all the questions which are being raised by the opposition parties.
Not just that, there have been dramatic scenes at the office of the National Testing Agency as well, as members of Congress's student wing, that is the NSUI, barged inside the office raising shutdown NTA slogans. The NTA is at the center of the raging controversy over NEET and UGC NET. Well, earlier the Congress Youth Wing had protested at Jantar Mantar as well. These are the latest visuals that are coming from inside the NTA office when the protest had taken place. Meanwhile, the CBI had made its first arrest in the NEET UG paper leak case in Bihar. Two individuals from Patna known as Manish Kumar and Ashutosh were arrested. Now, according to CBI sources, Manish Kumar had facilitated the transportation of students in his car and is suspected of providing the use of an empty school where at least 24 students were given the leaked paper and memorized it, while Ashutosh provided lodging for the students at his residence. The two men had been called by the agency for questioning and they were arrested after that. All right, shifting our focus now to some more news that we're tracking at the moment. President Draupadi Murmu, in her address to a joint sitting of the parliament, spoke on the NEET controversy for the first time, saying those accused will get the strictest punishment. She has also spoken about the emergency as the biggest attack on the constitution. This comes even as there is a raging controversy between the government and the opposition over the emergency issue and protecting the constitution. The Congress even wrote to the speaker over his mention of emergency in his first address after being re-elected.
भारत का संविधान बीते दशकों में हार कसौटी पर खरा उतरा है। 25 जून 1975 को लागू हुआ आपातकाल संविधान पर सीधे हमले का सबसे बड़ा और काला अध्याय था। मुझे विश्वास है कि वे लोकतांत्रिक परंपरा।
President Draupadi Murmu's address to the joint session of Parliament added fire to the BJP's emergency offensive against the Congress.
माननीय सदस्यगण, तो पूरे देश में हाहाकार मच गया था, लेकिन ऐसी असंवैधानिक ताकतों पर देश ने विजय प्राप्त करके दिखाया, क्योंकि भारत के मूल में गणतंत्र की परंपराएं रही है।
The president's remarks came in the backdrop of a heated BJP versus opposition face-off over the emergency. While central ministers led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi have stressed on the horrors of the emergency imposed by the Indira Gandhi government, the Congress and its allies have said an undeclared emergency is in force over the past 10 years of the Narendra Modi government.
The president's remarks also plays out in the context of opposition's constitutional push. In demonstrations outside the house and proceedings inside, it was the opposition MPs who were seen holding the copies of the constitution and also accusing the ruling party for undermining it.
I regret that the real issues of India was covered up by the Honorable President in her speech. This shows the government's intention that they don't want to address the real issue.
इतिहास नहीं है, उन लोगों से पूछो जिनकी जवानी के बेहतरीन 19 महीने जेल की कोठरी में।
The emergency issue lingered beyond the president's address, with the Congress writing this letter to Speaker Om Birla. saying his reference to the emergency on Wednesday impacted the credibility of Parliament.
I had informed the Honourable Speaker it could have been avoided from the Speaker's reference. Because that is clearly a political reference. It could have been avoided.
The President's address also touched upon the burning issue of NEET exam irregularities. The government, she said, is fully committed to ensuring the guilty are punished.
सरकारी भर्ती हो या फिर परीक्षाएं, सुनिए परीक्षाएं किसी भी कारण से इनमें रुकावट आए ये उचित नहीं है। इनमें शुचिता और पारदर्शिता बहुत जरूरी है। हाल ही में कुछ परीक्षाओं में हुई पेपर लीक की घटनाओं की निष्पक्ष जांच और दोषियों को कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दिलवाने के लिए मेरी सरकार प्रतिबद्ध है।
President Murmu's address referred to the need for Parliament to run smoothly. The President spoke of the Lok Sabha polls in Jammu and Kashmir, calling it a big success. She also listed the Modi government's scheme for farmer welfare and efforts, she said, have helped India become the fastest growing major economy in the world. Bureau Report, NDTV.
And while a Samajwadi Party MP's demand to remove Singol from Parliament has sparked a huge controversy, Samajwadi Party MP R.K. Chaudhary had written to Speaker Om Birla asking for the Singol to be replaced by a copy of the Constitution in the Parliament. He's called it a symbol of royal diktat and said that this is called Raja Ka Danda. His demand was backed by the Congress as well. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit back, saying it's an insult to the people of the South, while Union Minister Murugan spoke to NDTV, calling the Singol the pride of every Tamilian. Listen in.
लोकतंत्र का जो प्रतीक है वो संविधान है, लेकिन बीजेपी सरकार ने, खासतौर जो पिछली सरकार है, मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में उस संसद भवन में जहां स्पीकर बैठते हैं दाहिनी तरफ सिंगोल स्थापित कर दिया है। सिंगोल तमिल भाषा का शब्द है, उसका हिंदी माने है राजदंड, राजदंड का और हिंदी माने है राजा की छड़ी, राजा की छड़ी का और माने है राजा डंडा। तो अब देश संविधान चलेगा, न कि राजा का डंडा चलेगा। तो इसलिए हमारी मांग है कि अगर लोकतंत्र बचाना है तो संसद भवन से सिंगोल को हटाना है।
Sir, what do you think of the Samajwadi Party and the Congress saying that the Singol or the scepter is not a symbol of constitutional democracy that India is?
First of all, I condemn this Samajwadi Party and the Samajwadi Party leaders and India Alliance partners. So they don't know about the Tamil culture. They don't know about the Tamil tradition. They don't know about the Tamil values. Singol was kept in the parliament. So today also our president is going forward to the Singol is going before our Prime President of India. So it is pride of Tamilian. Right, it is pride of Tamil people. So like it's in each and every Tamil's pride this is. So the SP, Samajwadi Party or India Alliance people, they are against the Tamil tradition. They are against the Tamil culture, they are against the Tamil value. I strongly condemn this instance.
Absolutely. Last question, sir, but they are saying that constitution should be kept and not the Singol. Do you think that comparison is fair?
See, constitution, our Prime Minister is all time. 2014, when our Prime Minister took in charge, that time our Prime Minister told and gave namaskar to the constitution, and our Prime Minister told the constitution my Bhagavad Gita. 2019 also same. 2024 also first our Prime Minister he bowed and he touched his head in the constitution, then only he came to the seat also. So like our Prime Minister always give priority and pride our Constitution of India and Baba Dr. Ambedkar. You see, where we are talking about the Constitution, the Indie bloc people, what they did, they didn't respect Dr. Ambedkar. Our Prime Minister always give priority and respect our Indian Constitution and Dr. B. Ambedkar.
And we welcome on
All right, we'll keep an eye on the developments on that big story that we continue to track. Meanwhile, in some fresh trouble for former Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yedurappa, the State Police CID has filed a charge sheet naming him and 3 others in a case filed under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act, that is POCSO. The BJP leader is accused of touching a 17-year-old girl inappropriately when she and her mother had gone to meet him at his house earlier this year to seek help in case of an assault on her in 2015. Well, the survivor's mother had filed a case under POCSO in March against the former CM. Some more news now that we're tracking. As the monsoons intensify in Bengaluru, dengue cases have risen significantly in the last 2 months, recording a 400% jump. The city has seen 1,036 cases in June, and this has set the alarm bells ringing.
Karnataka has witnessed a sudden spike in dengue cases. What was 200 cases in the summer months turned into 797 in May and 1,036 in June, putting Bengaluru city on guard. 20-year-old Debarjo Basubal is one among those affected by dengue. A sudden fever brought his platelets down drastically, and he is now on his road to recovery.
It was worse. My parents had to come down, and I live in a PG here, and I thought it's a very clean PG, which it moderately is, but then the water that accumulates, you never know how dirty the water is, how dirty your surrounding actually is, what leads to the rise of these kind of mosquitoes, and you never even know what kind of mosquitoes lead to dengue. So I think I needed to be a little bit more clean, and I needed to be a little bit more careful.
Addressing the sudden surge in cases, CM Siddaramaiah called for a meeting with officials of the Civic Department and Health. Chief Civic Commissioner, who was also affected by dengue last week, said that the municipal corporation will be holding a survey across 14 lakh houses to destroy dengue breeding areas.
Because of intermittent rain and conducive temperature of 26 to 30 degrees, the breeding and the mosquitoes numbers have gone high. So we have to now pull in our all resources and intensify our survey work. Survey work is very important.
From January to May, dengue cases in Bengaluru jumped by 59% as compared to 2023. Karnataka has recorded 5,374 cases, 5 deaths till date this year. Bengaluru has witnessed 2,447 cases till date this year. More cases reported from Bengaluru, Chikmagaluru, Mysuru, Haveri, Shivamogga, Chitradurga and Dakshin Kannada districts. More than 40% of 50 patients walking into hospitals with fever are reportedly testing positive for dengue, say doctors.
First things is that the rains are going to be around, so we cannot prevent that. So what can we do for that? Make sure that the area where you stay is maintained with good hygiene. There is no treatment for dengue. It's a virus and it's only symptomatic. So when I say symptomatic, if a patient is having fever, you treat for fever. If a patient is having body pain, you treat for body pains.
While the government must initiate efforts in destroying mosquito breeding areas and boosting treatment measures, the onus is also on you and me to ensure our surroundings are clean and to keep dengue at bay. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Welcome back after the break. Capital Markets Watchdog SEBI has decided to regulate financial influencers amid growing concerns about potential risk associated with such people. In order to address the concerns related to certain persons, including unregulated entities inducing investors to deal in securities based on inappropriate claims, SEBI board has approved norms to restrict associations between its regulated entities and unregistered individuals. This has come amid growing concern over the potential risks associated with unregulated influencers who might offer biased or misleading advice. They usually work on a commission-based model.
As you know, we have jurisdiction over entities that we regulate. We don't have jurisdiction over entities that do not come and register with us and are not part of our ecosystem. So the way that this works is that the entities which are regulated by us, they are now being mandated that they cannot associate with people who do one of two things, either of two things. One is if they are not registered investment advisors or research analysts and yet they are giving investment advice or research analysis, so they are breaking the law. The second is, irrespective of whether they are registered or unregistered, if they are making claims on performance or in terms of, portfolio performance, their service performance, etc., unless it is specifically provided for them to be able to give that information of performance, if they are making claims without that approval, then again they are breaking the law.
Well, there is much outrage among Indians in Italy over a worker's death. 30-year-old Indian farm worker had died in Italy after his arm was severed in a factory accident, and the worker had died after his employer allegedly left him bleeding on the road. Now, the parents of the worker, who are from Moga in Punjab, have said that they were not informed of it. They are now appealing to the Indian government to get his body back. Take a look at this report.
Outrage among Indians in Italy after the death of an Indian farm worker. 30-year-old Satnam Singh, who worked as a farm worker in Italy, died after he was dumped on the road without medical assistance by his employer after his arm was severed by heavy farm machinery in Lazio, near Rome. Singh was from Chandanwa village of Moga in Punjab and had gone to Italy for work 4 years ago. His parents say they were not officially informed about their son's death and they got to know from someone else. They are now appealing to the government to bring his body back.
ਉਹ 15 ਸਾਲ ਇੱਧਰ ਮਤਲਬ ਨੌਕਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ, ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਟਲੀ ਚਲਾ ਗਿਆ। ਇਟਲੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮਤਲਬ 4 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ। ਉਸਨੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਦਾ ਤੀਜੇ ਦਿਨ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਗਿਆ। 3 ਦਿਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੋਨ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ, ਫੋਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੱਕਿਆ। ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ।
ਇਹ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਭਾਣਾ ਵਰਤਿਆ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ 4 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਟ ਦੱਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ, ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਸੱਟ ਵੱਜੀ ਆ, ਨਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਦਾਖਲ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਾਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੇ ਆ। ਪੁੱਤਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪੁੱਤ ਦਾ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰੋਣ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਬਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਪੁੱਤ।
The Indian embassy in Italy had strongly taken up Satnam's death with the Italian authorities. The embassy also said that it is in contact with the family of Satnam Singh for consular help and transportation of mortal remains. The death triggered protests by Indian workers in Italy. The outrage prompted Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni to condemn the death of the worker and the employer's attitude. Meloni called the death horrible and termed Satnam a victim of an inhumane act. She also vowed strict punishment for those responsible. The employer, Antonello Lovato, has been charged with negligent manslaughter. With Gurpreet Singh Chinna, Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, in a big step up for Atmanirbharta in defence program, Adani Defence, in collaboration with the international defence major Thales, will be manufacturing 70mm rockets in India. The rockets can be fired from India's attack helicopters and are considered the gold standard of rockets of this class. Vishnu Som has a special report.
It's rockets like these that will now be manufactured here in India by the Adani Group, working closely with the international aerospace firm Thales. 70mm rockets fired from India's light combat and Rudra attack helicopters can hit targets on the ground with pinpoint accuracy. Each light combat helicopter, operated by both the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army, can mount 48 rockets in pods. These can be guided with lasers to enable accurate hits. It's also versatile because of the array of weapons that it carries. It can actually carry air-to-air missiles as well, fired from these pods over here.
and also rockets which can be used to strike targets on the ground.
These rockets can be used against soft and light armored vehicles, air defense facilities, radar sites and communication installations.
What are these rockets meant for?
These rockets are generally meant for an area target, like a column of vehicle or even a lightly armored column of vehicle. These are they have a caliber of 70 mm. They have a warhead which is of different types. A different kind of warhead can be chosen depending upon the target. That's called as target to weapon matching.
The Indian Air Force and Indian Army are in the process of acquiring 65 and 114 light combat helicopters respectively. In a statement, Thales has said, "This partnership is a key milestone in our continued support of Make in India and the Atmanirbhar Bharat vision for India's growing defense industry." Thales is a world leader in the manufacture of 70mm rocket systems, launcher and firing control systems. 8 million rockets have been delivered around the world to as many as 70 forces. These rockets will now be built in India. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.